Dr. Chancellor sir, Dr. K.S. sir, Dr. Khan, Dr. S.K. Gupta sir, and other dignitaries, especially Dr. Dhawan sir, President of the Society, Krishna sir. First of all, I congratulate the organizers, especially Dr. Dhawan, President of the Society, Dr. Paysen, and all the scientists from the university involved in the organization of this important event. In fact, it was a truly international event. We had a galaxy of speakers, eminent speakers around the globe from US, Denmark, Germany, Bangladesh, Nepal, and many other countries. So when I say international, I have seen many international seminars where there was no one from outside the country. But here, I was inquiring from Dr. Paysen time and again, it is international now. So he was assuring, yes sir, it is international. Then he told me so many people are coming. And I have interacted some of the dignitaries, speakers. They don't have only experience of their own country. Dr. Khan, I was interacting. They are having such a vast knowledge across the countries. They have worked in the international organizations. So it was actually a privilege for our country, especially our scientists, our students, that sitting here for 3 days, they were exposed what is happening world over. They can get some ideas for their research, further research, and their research proposals also, because this is a very important subject. So I really congratulate and thank all the speakers, especially the keynote speakers who have come from across the globe. As Dr. Risham was telling that, first of all, I want to tender my apologies. On the first day of this program, I was not here. I wanted to be with you, but because of very, very important meeting with the Honorable Lieutenant Governor in Srinagar, I had to be there. And it was in the interest of the university, and I will share the kind of progress we have made during the meeting with the Honorable LG for the benefit of the university also. Dr. Hansra was sharing with me about the deliberations of our Honorable Chief Guest during the inaugural period. And it was highly relevant and very impressive talk he has given. And maybe our scientists might have taken some clue from the directions he has given during the inaugural address. From the beside the participants from abroad, we had participation from across the country, north, south, east, west, all places. And it was also indicated when we were giving awards to the students, especially for poster session, they were representing different institutions of graduate from the different part of the country. I also interacted some of the young minds, students during the poster session. It was really very encouraging, such a interest and the kind of studies our MSc and PhD students have conducted. Because maybe there was a limitation of award numbers, as Dr. Chancellor was telling, but every presentation was wonderful. I compliment each one of you, especially the students who have presented their work through the poster sessions. And it was also multidisciplinary and multi-stakeholders convention. There were scientists, there were farmers, there was participation from industry and participation from students. And when Dr. Jiten Singh ji was here, he is representing 10 ministries: science and technology, atomic energy, space, and he is Minister of State and PM. So whatever things which have been discussed here, he will take note of it, and our recommendations will find a place, maybe in the policies, perspectives, which need to be implemented in times to come. And I will request that the recommendations, some of the keynote addresses, I have opportunity to be here to listen them. And the virtual kind of arrangement which you have made, it was so live that we were thinking that the person is addressing from this platform only. I compliment for that quality also of virtual presentation. Lot of talk, appreciation has been made, given to Dr. Tracy. I also have some observations. He is very disciplined person, very time conscious also. One or two participants from outside, out of the city, contacted me, sir, I have submitted a paper and it has been rejected. And she sent the rejection letter also. Sir, can you help me that it is accepted? Then I thought, it is Dr. Basic. Whether I should put a request or not. So I decided not to request. And that is the quality consciousness. In selecting the paper, I have never seen a conference where the paper is rejected. Whatever is sent, immediately it is accepted. Because the idea is to get maximum number of participation. And I was also, many things happened first time in my life. There were maybe 500 or more than 500 papers. But I was searching my name also. I don't write, but somebody gives my name. Sometimes 10 times, sometimes 5 times. Here, the topper in the list was Dr. Samnotra, who has contributed 10 papers. 10 papers. So, also advise that maybe he's working hard, but see that one doesn't do that much of science. Because ultimately we have to live life. So restrict the science. Up to certain level. And I was also seeing this today's schedule, this valedictory schedule. It says dinner from 6:55 to 7:30. Generally we give 6, 7 to 7:30, 7:30 to 8:30. But he is counting minutes also even in dinner. Day before yesterday he asked me, sir, you have breakfast with me in this evening. I said, what is the time? Sir, it will start by 8. You can come, let us by 8:30. 8:30. Sir, I said, no, sir, I will not be able to come. Because I know that when we say 8:30, he will be there waiting for 8:30. So that kind of time consciousness. And I have also noticed the energy level. Why I am talking so much? We have to learn many things from the Papa. Level of energy, there were many people busy here and there. And whatever left was there, gap was there. He himself was running from pillar to post. पर कभी कभी इतना, थोड़ा हिंदी भी आती होगी सभी को, कभी कभी इतना कॉन्शियस भी हो जाते थे. आज धवन साहब खड़े थे, 4-5 लोग और थे, ऋषभ साहब से फोटोग्राफ लिया जा रहा था. अब उन्होंने कहा कि वीसी साहब को भी बुला लो, हम थोड़ा सा 10 मीटर दूरी पे खड़े थे. ये आए और हमारा हाथ पकड़ के ले गए. वो पीएसओ पीछे से आया कि वीसी साहब के साथ में क्या हो रहा है. मैंने कहा भाई हाथ छोड़ो, मैं आ रहा हूं. Sometimes he becomes so much of energetic he doesn't know what he's doing. तो थोड़ा सा एनर्जी लेवल भी कम. एक बार एक वाइस चांसलर हंसराज साहब सर, एक बार एक वाइस चांसलर पिकनिक के लिए लोगों को ले गए. और वहां जब पहुंचे तो पिकनिक स्पॉट पर वहां एक पॉन्ड था और उस पॉन्ड में वाइस चांसलर ने एक पत्थर फेंका. पत्थर डूब गया. डूबेगा वीपी सिंह साहब. और वाइस चांसलर ने पूछा पेशेंट साहब से कि पेशेंट साहब ये पत्थर क्यों डूबा. इन्होंने कहा साहब इस पत्थर की डेंसिटी ज्यादा थी, वाटर रिप्लेसमेंट कम था, ये था, पूरी साइंस उसमें लगा था. फिर यही क्वेश्चन रजिस्ट्रार साहब बैठे हैं, यही क्वेश्चन रजिस्ट्रार साहब से पूछा वाइस चांसलर ने, भाई ये पत्थर कैसे डूब गया. ये बोले साहब मुझे तो दी की बात पता है, जिसका साथ आपने छोड़ दिया वो तो डूबेगा. अब ये बताओ कि जब प्रमोशन होगा, इंटरव्यू होगा, तो साइंस वाले कब होगा. थोड़ा साइंस का कंजम्पशन कम करना. पब्लिकेशन की क्वालिटी, एंड यू सी इट इज माय वे ऑफ एक्सप्लेनिंग, ओनली टॉकिंग. इनका इतना मैसेज जो था 22 मार्च को जो है डीजी का मैसेज आ गया. सो मच ऑफ प्लानिंग. डीजी इन अक्टूबर, और इन्होंने जो मैसेज जो कलेक्ट किए थे, दीज मैसेजेस वर कलेक्टेड इन द मंथ ऑफ मार्च. से मेटिकुलस प्लान. आई हैव माय ऑल appreciations. Many things I was just sharing in humor, but I have my all appreciation for this wonderful organization of this international event. And I request Dr. Jason, can we have kind of agreement with the scientists, their institution, with our university? It will be a fruitful association in times to come. And I think such a knowledgeable person, you can write book on each scientist. Dr. Khan is sitting here. Other scientists are sitting here. When I was talking, they have worked in Greece, they have worked in US, they are working up to 68 years, 70 years, they are working. They have a treasure of knowledge. Besides this presentation, can we have a detailed work history, kind of innovations they have done in these areas, so that we can share it with our faculty, with our students. Now, the journey of evolution in Indian agriculture. Now we are in the era of agriculture 4.0. This is we are in the midst of agriculture revolution 4.0. The first level of agriculture, when the nomadic hunters started settled agriculture. They settled and they started agriculture cultivation. The second revolution came with the mechanization, introduction of machinery, harvesters, tractors, and the third revolution, who are we are all aware about that revolution, was the green revolution, where we have developed high yielding varieties, pesticides, fertilizers, and other technology. Now, in this era of the fourth agriculture revolution, now we are talking about digital farming. We are talking about soilless farming. We are talking about vertical farming. We are talking about Internet of Things. We are talking about sensor-based irrigation. We are talking about artificial intelligence. We are talking about sensor-based irrigation systems and so on. And government is so sensitive, our policy makers are so sensitive. These things are not only in paper. Now they are taking this shape. Each KDK is being provided drone so that they can help the farmers how to save the natural resources, how to generate the information, how to disseminate the information. So now we are working in this period. If I talk about the Indian agriculture, because most of the foreign delegates are also familiar with about Indian agriculture and other participants are from agriculture. There are various challenges we are facing, and some of the challenges other countries are also facing. The first challenge, I think, three things are required for agriculture, basic things. One is land. If we see the condition of land, in 1970, per capita land availability was 2.73 hectares, which declined to 1.5 hectares in 2001, and now we are having only 1.08, and this figure is also 2 years back. Maybe now it is less than 1 hectare. Now you can imagine, we say only challenge, but if you see it, what is going to happen in future? From 2.73 hectare, now we have 1 hectare. If we talk about Jammu and Kashmir, here the land availability is half of the national average. Dr. Sharma is sitting here, Dr. K. Sharma sir, he is Director of Agriculture. He will agree with me that now we have only around 12 canals, which is around 1 acre only, little more than 1 acre, and it is also declining. And 23% of the Indian farmers are having only 200 square meter of land. 86% of the farmers are small or marginal. If land is not there, and that too, there is degradation in the land. Carbon content is declining. Maybe at the national level it is 0.6. In our place, it is 0.5 something. And some of the areas like Kathua and Sama, rain-fed areas, it is only 0.3. So day by day, carbon content in the soil is declining. Land is not available, and the fertility level, health of the soil is declining. This is the biggest challenge. Another thing, I told three basic things are required for agriculture. Second thing is water. If we see the water availability, in 1970 per hectare per year, water availability for agriculture was 5,000 cubic meter. Now it is only around 1200 cubic meter per hectare per year. There is no land, there is no water. And the third thing is there should be someone to go for agriculture. NSSO data says that 44% of the farmers are willing to leave agriculture. It is not 44, it is not 60, it is not 90. When we visit the villages, especially the youth, 100% youth is willing to leave agriculture if they are provided some viable alternative. So three things. Because we have produced our education system was such that we have produced only the job seekers. And we have not developed the capacity, competence and capability of our youth so that they can start their own enterprise. But despite all those odds, I would like to share with my guests. We have only 2.4% of world land. We have only 4.2% of world water. And with that 2.4% of world land, we are feeding 18% of world population. It is a matter of pride for India. With 2.4% of land, we are feeding 12% of animal population of the world. And with that, we have 90 million tons of surplus grains. It is because the hard work of the scientists, farmers, and matching policy support. But in times to come, this situation will change. Yesterday, I was seeing some paper. By 2050, the food requirement will be 70% more what we have today worldwide. Land is declining, water is declining, farmers are not interested, youth are not interested in agriculture. Then how to achieve this? Now in India, our focus is changing from productivity to productivity. Because we cannot leave agriculture. We are not like other countries where the share of agriculture is 2%, 3%, 4%, and they are technology-oriented countries and they are enjoying best of the world. Agriculture is not a sector for our country. It provides livelihood to two-thirds of the Indian population. It provides 52% employment to our people. And it is misnomer that when we say that the share of agriculture and GDP is 70%, it needs to be corrected. Dr. Patient, some economists are there. They should work out actually what is the share of agriculture in Indian economy. We say 17%, 21%. When we say 20%, we are taking only into consideration the raw material. And when you take value-added product from the agriculture sector, it is 47%, 48%. And roughly, agriculture is contributing 50% to Indian economy. But for that, I am saying, I have read it, but whether there is some kind of authentic report that actually whatever you are seeing in this hall, from where it is coming, whatever you consume, value-added product from where it is coming from agriculture. And this is the sector that is ever growing. And during that Corona period, there was a minus 23% growth in other sectors, manufacturing, transport, construction, minus 23% growth. But agriculture sector maintained positive growth of 3.4%. It is going to increase. It is ever growing sector. Then, now if we cannot leave agriculture despite all odds, what kind of agriculture we have to practice? We cannot leave it. It is the question of livelihood, employment, and economy. If we cannot leave it, then what kind of agriculture we have to subscribe? Now we are talking converting culture, a way of life, into a dynamic entity that is agribusiness. Now we are talking diversification and commercialization of agriculture. And for that purpose, the whole effort in our country is to develop the capacity, competency, capability of our youth so that they can take agriculture as a business. In that context, the role of extension is also changed. Till now, the role of extension was till only production. Last line of the package of practices of the any university was, if you subscribe to those packages, the yield will be 50 quintals per hectare. And this started from Jalvayu, seed to seed rate, plant to plant distance, row to row distance, pipe irrigation in wheat. Now that is okay. We are doing agriculture from generations. Now the role of extension is beyond production. Can we meet the aspirations and needs of the young minds? Extensions can be meted. The whole country is working in that direction. You might have not heard earlier Startup India, Skill India, Digital India, Ministry of Skilling and Entrepreneurship Development, Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. Earlier, these things were not there. So when it was announced some 6 7 years back, we were thinking, what is this Startup India? What is this Stand Up India? Now, you must be seeing daily. And our new education policy also supporting this. New education policy, vocational education in our country is only 5%. In other countries, South Korea, it is 95%. Malaysia, 85%. Germany, more than 80%. Even the developed countries, many developed countries, it is more than 80% vocational education. But in our system, it is only 5% vocational education. And this new education policy has prescribed that by 2025, we should have 50% vocational education, and by 2030, vocational education should be 50%, 80%. And for that, the whole syllabus, curriculum has been changed. First year, it will not be a degree like earlier, 4-year degree. In last year, there will be experiential learning. First year will be diploma, second year will be advanced diploma, third year will be further specialized diploma, and fourth year will be degree. That is going to be implemented, and the idea is we don't create only job seekers, we should create job providers. That is the idea. Now government is. Now, I was just saying that production to profitability. There are 6 7 areas where we are working, the whole country is working. First, it will remain the same how to increase the productivity and production of the crops, because we have to feed our ever increasing population. The second thing is, without increasing the production, can we decrease the cost of cultivation so that profitability is more? How it can be done? And some of these things are delivered here also. For agriculture, 2 3 inputs are important. One is water. Water use efficiency in our country is around 25%. I was saying 30% earlier. Then latest is it is only 20 to 25%. Means 80% of water is being waste. It is not only the money, it is only the ecological consequences and times to come when we are wasting 80% of water. Many participants are from Punjab. I have worked there for some 7 8 years from IERI only. Water table every year is going down, and on an average, a farmer is spending 50,000 rupees to lower the motor. And besides, there is a hard pan in the soil because of the continuous rice and wheat system. Their soils are going to be degraded. Carbon content is declining. So, how to save water? There are technologies I mentioned about sensor-based irrigation system. In paddy, we feel proud that we have exported paddy worth 30,000 crores rupees basmati. And 1 kg, for producing 1 kg of paddy, it requires 3,000 to 5,000 liters of water. Whether we have taken into consideration even the cost of water, paddy is going free. We are not meeting even the cost of water. So that need to be. Now since farmers are giving over irrigating the fields, It doesn't require. So now the sensor-based irrigation system perhaps will ensure that when and how we have to irrigate. So that water efficiency is one area where our scientists need to focus. Another area, fertilizer. Fertilizer use efficiency is again around 30%. Now we are talking, there was a presentation also, nano urea. One of our scientists made a presentation through postdoc session, and we are doing experiment for last 2 years on nano urea. And then once a professor from perhaps US, he made a virtual presentation. Renewable energy sources. Can we harvest the potential of renewable energy sources? Solar energy, wind energy, hydro energy, and one of the most important source in our country can be biomass energy through recycling the biomass waste through biogas. And then government has started a project, Govardhan project, where you can generate gas as well as a quality fertilizer by recycling the waste through biogas plants. So this need to be, and our university had to, I talked to Chief Secretary and he suggested that university should work with the departments to promote this kind of interventions. Now the focus is changing from food security to nutritional security. There were different self-sufficiency, sustainable development, food security. Now we have achieved food security, but nutritional security is still missing. We have enough food, even surplus food, but there is still malnutrition. So now world over, there is a discussion, and the next year, 2023, is being celebrated as International Year of Millets. So in that context also, we have to find out what are the crops and varieties. Now in some of the institutions, even I was there, they are working breeding for nutrition. Breeding for nutrition, and there are crops and varieties by fortification, like in maize, QPM9 and other varieties which are protein rich. So now we have enough food, but quality of food need to be promoted. Another important area I would like to share, especially the scientists and our young students. Now the future is of processing, value addition, and market. Wherever you go, Dr. K. Sharma was there, Dr. Bali was there when we had a 3 days meeting in Kashmir for holistic development of agriculture and youth. In almost every project, maybe it is fisheries, maybe it is mushroom, maybe it is other commodities, vegetable, we were talking about the post-harvest management. Because in our country, processing and value addition is only 7%. In case of vegetable which are highly perishable, in our this state, vegetable is grown everywhere, and off-season vegetable we have the advantage. The vegetable case, the processing is only 2%. As a result, national level, we are wasting 15 to 20% after harvesting. In case of horticulture crop, the wastage may be 30%, 40%, even sometimes 50, 60% wastage. Our Honorable Prime Minister made once a mention, zero hunger through zero wastage. Because the production every year increased 3 to 4%, sometimes 5%. This year the production of food grains was 340 million tons. Horticulture production was 327 million tons. So it is roughly 3 to 4% increase every year. But wastage is 50 to 20%. So if we are able to save even 50% of the wastage, there is no need of even increasing the production. So in that direction, Processing in value addition is the prime focus of the scientists and the policymakers. Storability also increases when you process the product. And I give some figures of some other countries, Philippines. Dr. Khan was perhaps worked there. Philippines, Iri, the value addition is 74%. Brazil, Vietnam, US, all countries the processing level is more than 60%, but in our country it is only 7%. Maybe because we were food